Hey, so today I want to talk a little bit about just how much of a role our wanting to be in control plays in our lives. And for this particular topic and video, I want to start with something I touched on in a video that I shot some months ago around the fear of success. And in that video, if you remember, if you've watched, and I highly recommend you do, I talked about how when dealing in my own experience with fear of success, it would often manifest itself through some form of self-sabotage. And in an effort to combat that self-sabotage that I would feel, I began to give names to those patterns of behavior. For example, one was the wanderer, right? And that's when I would be working towards a goal. I'd have a deadline, and for some reason I'd find this strong pull to go for a walk, right? I need to get some air. I'm stressed out. I need to go for a walk. And I'd find myself walking more miles than I've ever walked previously, so much so that I would be tired by the time I got back home, and whatever deadlines, whatever I had to complete will fall by the wayside, right? And this was usually in my more, independent passion projects work. So that was one. Another one was the overthinker, where I would, as I'm coming to completing a major goal, I would then begin to think, well, you know what? Maybe there's a different way to go about this. Maybe the way I'm going about it is wrong. Again, for no reason, no rhyme or reason, no trigger. It just so happened that that's what happens, and I go back to the drawing board. So in both examples, as I'm edging oh so close to completing my goal, I drive myself back down that sliding scale, right? In some cases, going all the way back to the blueprint. So in talking about control, I was meditating on this topic again, the fear of success, and that word came up, right? Oh, that's me trying to control my situation. That's me trying to control myself in a way that I remain in my comfort zone, because I realized that as long as we are, because I'm sure so many of you experience this as well, as long as we are somewhere in between having started our goal, right? Having started our goal and the finish line, we're always in control, right? We're in some form of a comfort zone because we've mapped out that area, right? We know where we came from, number one, and number two, we've mapped out where we're going. And as long as we're somewhere between those 2 points, we're not only in control, but we're in our comfort zone, because the minute we transcend the goal that we have for ourselves or complete it, then what, right? We didn't plan for that. And that's where things become scary. That's where things become dicey, right? That's where you enter like this dark place, right? Where it's like, okay, well, what's next? And that scares a lot of people. I think in some way, although it wasn't top of mind, that was scary to me, right? Because you put so much energy, so much muster behind a goal, to have it being completed is like, what am I going to do with myself? So sometimes you might self-sabotage just to be able to stay in that underdog position, just to stay within climbing the mountain, because you just enjoy it so much, is where you've come to belong. But in order for us to transcend that, we have to learn to let go. We have to learn to let go of control, right? Always wanting to control the situation, and just work ourselves towards completing our goals. And with that, I guess in a way, what I'm urging you to do, and this is something that I've begun to do over the last few years, is trusting your ability to adapt, right? That's something I don't hear in the conversation enough. It's just people trusting their ability to adapt. Most of you, like myself, first gen, whether that is via, graduating college, whether it's, coming from, an immigrant background, whatever it may be, you're first gen in some way. You've had to adapt. You've been in new settings, new situations, different types of people, and you've always found a way to adapt. You've always found a way to make it work. And that's the piece that I find is often missing from the success conversation. That is just trusting your ability to adapt. And that's something that I really found myself doing more of, and trying to ultimately stop feeling that I need to control everything, right? Learning to get ahead of these self-sabotaging ways, trusting my ability to adapt. So as I continue forward, that's just something that I have in the back of my mind, is that as long as I can trust my ability to adapt, I don't have to worry what situation I'm in, what room I'm in, because I'll just be doing what I've always done, and that is prevail, that is to overcome, that is to learn, fail fast, and keep going. And I urge you to do the same. So just a message for you that I hope will help, and I'm here if you have any questions.